happy knowing that little Jimmy's life is a little bit more important than two of our guys.
Saving Private Ryan isn't just a war movie. It's a cinematic battlefield that hits harder with every viewing. Buckle up as we count down the 10 weirdest, wildest behind-the-scenes revelations from Saving Private Ryan and uncover the bonus fact that proves why this film still haunts theaters, hearts, and history. Number 10. Spielberg turned down the original script. The script that first landed on Steven Spielberg's desk had everything: a mission, a team, and a clear arc. But to Spielberg, that was the problem. It felt too polished. There is too much movie and not enough memory. He didn't want a tidy war film. He wanted chaos. He wanted dirt, panic, and moments where the silence hit harder than any monologue. So he threw it out. What followed was a total rewrite, with fragments of thought instead of speeches and scenes that felt observed rather than scripted. The result was less of a story and more of a wound, open, raw, and unhealed. Number 9. The sound design. Wasn't just realistic, it was real. Most action movies rely on digital sound effects to create gunfire. Not this one. Spielberg's team used actual World War II-era weapons, firing them into sand, metal, and water. The recordings were then piped into the actors' earpieces. That means every time you see a soldier flinch or hit the ground, the panic is real. It wasn't a sound effect, it was a simulated attack. The cast wasn't acting out fear, they were reacting to it. That layer of sonic assault made Saving Private Ryan feel like a documentary with a heartbeat. Number 8. The explosions were unscripted, even for the cast. In real war, no one yells incoming with a director's cue. Spielberg knew that, so he had the detonation team keep the timing vague. The cast didn't know when the sand would explode or which direction the shrapnel would spray. One actor dropped to the ground too early. Another forgot his line entirely after being splashed with blood. But the cameras never stopped. Spielberg didn't want actors performing. He wanted instincts kicking in. The result is a scene that feels dangerous because, for the cast, it was. Number 7. Vin Diesel was cast by accident. Before he was Groot, before Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel was a struggling actor waiting tables and maxing out credit cards. He made a short film called Multifacial about his own identity crisis as a biracial performer. Spielberg saw it by accident and couldn't get it out of his head. No audition, no callback, just a call. You're Caparzo. Diesel went from unknown to unforgettable, delivering one of the movie's most haunting death scenes. It wasn't action that got him the role, it was authenticity. Number 6. Matt Damon was left out of boot camp on purpose. Most of the main cast went through 10 brutal days of military boot camp, crawling through mud, hauling gear, and eating rations. However, one actor was left out: Matt Damon. Spielberg did it intentionally. He wanted the other actors to resent Damon a little, to see him as an outsider, just like their characters would. So when they finally met him on set, the tension was real. They weren't thinking, "Hey, it's Matt." They were thinking, "We bled for this and you didn't." It worked. The bitterness added emotional weight to every word they threw his way. If you're enjoying these wild behind-the-scenes facts, go ahead and drop a like. Number 5. Tom Sizemore had to pass a drug test every day. Sizemore was Spielberg's pick for Sergeant Horvath, but the studio was hesitant. Sizemore had a history with addiction. The solution? He could stay on one condition: a clean drug test every single day of production. One failure and he'd be fired, replaced, and every scene reshot. Sizemore agreed. He showed up every morning, passed every test, and delivered one of the film's most grounded performances. In interviews, he later said the job saved his life. He wasn't just proving he could act, he was proving he could stay clean. Number 4. Tom Hanks added the film's most iconic line on the spot.
Earn this.
Earn this. It's whispered as Captain Miller is dying. Not loud, not rehearsed, but unforgettable. That line wasn't in the script. Tom Hanks made it up on set, in character, in the moment. Spielberg didn't even ask for another take. It became the film's spine, a moral dagger buried in the audience. That line wasn't for Ryan, it was for us, for everyone who's ever been protected by someone else's sacrifice. Number 3. The first 27 minutes have zero music, and that was the point. John Williams composed a breathtaking score, but Spielberg made a chilling decision. No music during the D-Day landing, just waves, screams, and bullets. It wasn't a mistake, it was a message. The silence, or lack of score, was part of the story. Spielberg wanted viewers to feel the noise, the fear, the confusion. Music would have offered distance. He wanted immersion. He wanted trauma. And when the score finally creeps in later, it doesn't soothe, it mourns. Number 2. The boats were real. World War II landing craft. Spielberg didn't settle for replicas. He hunted down actual World War II landing boats, including the infamous Higgins boats used at Normandy. Some hadn't touched water in decades. He had them restored, bolt by bolt, engine by engine. When the cast stepped aboard, they weren't entering a prop. They were stepping into a coffin-shaped piece of history. Every creak of metal was real. Every jolt was authentic. No CGI, no shortcuts, just rust, water, and the weight of history. Number 1. Spielberg didn't take a single dollar from the film. He could have made millions. Director's fee, producer credit, back-end profits, all his for the taking. But Spielberg refused. He said it didn't feel right to profit from a story about real soldiers who died. He called it blood money. Every dollar that would have gone to him instead went to veterans' foundations, quietly, without headlines. No speeches, no press tours, just action. Spielberg didn't just make a war film, he made a promise, and he kept it. Bonus fact, the film was used in PTSD therapy. After Saving Private Ryan hit theaters, something unexpected happened. The Department of Defense started using it in PTSD training sessions, not for soldiers, but for therapists. Young doctors watched it to understand what older veterans couldn't always say. The sensory overload, the emotional silence, the shattering noise, the film became a doorway into trauma. It wasn't therapy, but it was the beginning of understanding. For many veterans, it was the first time they saw themselves, and the first time someone else truly did too. Saving Private Ryan isn't just a movie. It's a memory given shape, a history given voice, a sacrifice given silence. Every frame carries the unbearable weight of reality, not fantasy. Every bullet fired and every scream echoed with the lives of men who stormed real beaches, bled in real trenches, and never came home. Spielberg didn't direct actors, he summoned ghosts. And for 25 years, those ghosts have never left. They still march through theaters, they still drift in the smoke, linger in the silence, and whisper through the roar of waves. The film didn't end with the credits. It lives on in the questions it forces us to ask. What do we owe to those who died for a world they would never see? How do we live in a way that honors those final, unspoken sacrifices? And most haunting of all, the one Captain Miller asked with his last breath, did we earn this? The silence that follows isn't cinematic, it's personal. If this story moved you, sit with it for a moment. Let it echo. And if you want more untold truths about the films that shaped our world, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and tell us in the comments what moment from Saving Private Ryan hit you hardest. Until next time, hold the line.